You ever wake up to find your whole life chained up by a neighbor in a pastel pantsuit? I did. 6:47 a.m. I'm out there barefoot on cold concrete, watching Constance Wexford, HOA president, self-declared queen of Pinewood Shores, standing with her phone out smirking while a tow truck driver ratchets chains around my father's $80,000 fishing boat. Not a warning, not a vote. Just a new rule she cooked up 3 days ago, and an email sent at midnight. My coffee mug hit the driveway and shattered sounded like the end of something, and maybe it was. Because what Constance didn't know with that little power trip was she just set in motion the one mistake that had cost her everything. Not just the boat, the entire lake. Ever had a neighbor who really thinks the world spins because they say so? Stick around, by the end, her yacht club gets booted for good. Name's Marcus T. Main. I'm 52, retired Coast Guard engineer, did 26 years keeping ships from sinking in storms folks like Constance wouldn't last a minute in. Moved here to Pinewood Shores, North Carolina, after my wife Lydia died cancer 4 years ago. I wanted quiet. I wanted mornings with cycas buzzing, nights where you could actually see stars. Bought a modest ranch house with cash. My daughter Sienna, she's a vet 2 states away, thought I was nuts moving into an HOA. Dad, those people are crazy. I told her, not here, honey. They don't care about much except grass length and Christmas lights. Ha! Should have listened to the kid. Pinewood Shores wraps around Lake Talmadge, 340 homes, a bunch of retirees, some young families, a few rentals. The lake technically belongs to some developer's corporation nobody even remembers. But there's a public boat ramp, and then there's the Tomage Yacht Club, $200 a year, buys you dock access and the privilege of pretending you're better than the rest of us. Never bothered with it. I'm not a cocktail guy. I fish. That's where I first crossed paths with Constance, mid-50s real estate agent, monogrammed. Everything always using her full name like she's running for Congress. 8 months ago, she becomes HOA president, talking about restoring standards, which translates to, I'll make you miserable if you don't fit my picture. Her husband, Reginald, is a contract lawyer, just enough legal know-how to be dangerous. She's got this thing for control, mailbox height, trash can hours, even the wattage of your porch light. And always, always that sticky, sweet voice like she's doing you a favor while she stabs you in the back. The boat, that 24-foot 1987 Champion, was the only thing my dad left me. After Lydia died, rebuilding that boat was the only therapy I could afford. Nights till 3 a.m., sanding, varnishing, fixing what was broken because I couldn't face the house alone. When it finally hit the water, it felt like breathing again. I kept it in my driveway, totally legal. The rules said nothing about boats. But Constance didn't like seeing it or me. Didn't like that I drove a beat-up old truck. Didn't like that I existed without her say-so. So she calls this emergency board meeting, no quorum, no notice passes a rule, no commercial-sized vehicles or watercraft over 20 feet in driveways. Exception yacht club members, of course. That morning after the tow truck's done, I pay $850 to the impound max out my credit card and sit at my kitchen table, shaking not with fear but with pure rage. I call 2 people, my old Navy buddy, now a real estate lawyer, and the county clerk. A week later, I park the boat on my lawn. Rule says driveway, not yard. Yeah, she lost her mind. 12 violation notices in 2 weeks, each one threatening $250 a day, fines for everything from trash cans out at 6:02 a.m. to my garden hose improperly coiled. Yeah, apparently there's a right way. Who knew? Soon she's got her little crew, Brenda Kilpatrick, bridge partner, and queen of Bless Your Heart, and Trevor and Mallory Gaines, new money in a $500,000 house, filming me like a tourist attraction. And Constance herself parked in her Lexus across the street, taking notes on her iPad like the world's pettiest surveillance operation. The pressure got real. Started second-guessing everything in my own house. Then came the certified letter HOA lien notice, $400 in fines, signed by Reginald on law firm letterhead. 30 days to pay, or they'd foreclose on my house. over a garden hose. I sat on the porch thinking about something my dad said: served in Vietnam, spent years fighting red tape. When someone uses rules as a weapon, make them prove the rules exist. Called in a favor. Denise Lattimore, ex-JAG officer. Won $500 retainer worth every penny. She dug up the HOA records. Turns out the meeting that passed. Constance's rule: never filed, never notarized, not even legal. Needed 5 board members for quorum. Constance had 3. No paperwork, no vote. Every fine, every threat built on air, built. Denise helped me draft a cease and desist letter sharp enough to cut glass, remove all liens, reimburse my towing stop, the harassment. Or we sue for unlawful collection. Bonus, she threatened to report Reginald to the bar for conflict of interest, sent it certified on a Friday. By Monday, Constance called an emergency meeting. I sat in the back phone recording North Carolina as a one-party state, bless Google. She fumbled excuses, promised review. Afterward, she caught me in the parking lot, that fake sweet tone gone. "You're making this harder than it needs to be, Marcus." "No, Constance, you are." I walked away, breathing in the honeysuckle and her cheap perfume, feeling for once that maybe I could win this. A week later, liens quietly disappeared. But I knew she wasn't done. And I was right. 2 weeks later, I go out fishing routine trip lakes like glass, and halfway across my engine dies. Water in the gas tank. Took me 2 hours to paddle back in July heat. Harbor Patrol helps me dock. Old guy named Carl leans in. "You're the 3rd boat this month. All folks who cross Constance." Didn't have proof, but I knew. Then came the social exclusion. 4th of July, potluck, 20-year tradition. Suddenly members only. Brenda turns me away at the door while Constance watches with her wine glass raised. I'm heading back to my truck when Vera Polanski, 78, lived here since day one, catches me, presses a yellowed newspaper clipping into my hand. Don't let her win. That night I read it. The lake isn't owned by the HOA or the yacht club, but by Talmadge Recreation Corp., a dormant corporation with $127,000 in back taxes. One shareholder, Desmond Pewitt, the original developer, now 81 and living in Richmond. I tracked him down, 4-hour drive to a nursing home that smells like bleach and bad coffee. He smiles when I explain why I'm there. "I'll sell you the corporation for $1 if you pay the back taxes and keep those snobs out." It was crazy, but I sold Lydia's jewelry borrowed from Sienna, and 3 weeks later I owned Lake Talmadge. Didn't announce it, just waited. Yacht Club sends their annual lease check. I send back new terms, $5,000 a month, up from $800 retroactive pay up, or lose access. When they refuse, I lock every dock post. Private property signs hire Deputy Kroll's nephew to patrol. Yacht Club banned, full stop. Suddenly, families who'd been shut out for years get access. The club sues me for fraudulent acquisition, but Denise finds proof they'd been subleasing to outsiders, breaking their own lease. Their whole case collapses. But the backlash gets nasty. Hate mail, vandalized mailbox, slashed tires, rumors that I'm a lake thief who tricked an old man. Then out of nowhere, Desmond posts a video, sets the record straight. My story hits the local paper. For the first time, people see what's really happening. And then the twist. Denise discovers the yacht club's treasurer, Constance herself, had siphoned off nearly $270,000 over 3 years into her own LLC. Embezzlement clear as day. Reginald, blindsided, asks for mercy for their son's sake. We strike a deal. They sell their house, repay every penny. Constance resigns, no criminal charges if she publicly apologizes. But before she leaves, she tries one last dirty trick. Anonymous complaints to state regulators, online smears, vandalism. My cameras catch Trevor Gaines, her henchman, on video. He gets cited. Flyers go out accusing me of abusing Desmond. Desmond fires back. His video goes viral. The truth wins out. October 7th, Community Lake Day. I open the marina to everyone. Free BBQ, kids fishing derby, bluegrass on the dock. Brenda shows up with lemonade, apologizes. Trevor comes with his family, asks to join the maintenance crew. The community comes together. Even Constance, broken and alone, shows up to apologize. I accept because justice isn't revenge. It's about making things right, not making people suffer. The next HOA meeting, 280 people show up, standing room only. The new yacht club president publicly apologizes, accepts my lease, opens membership. I propose 3 reforms: financial transparency, anti-retaliation protections, and a rule that surplus funds go to real community projects. They pass with 94% approval. Reginald gets up, admits everything. What happened wasn't a property dispute. It was harassment. My wife abused HOA rules. I enabled her. Please never let this happen again. I tell them rules exist to serve people, not to control them. When someone builds a fence to keep others out, don't just tear it down. Build something better in its place. Months go by. The lake thrives, 450 residents using it monthly clinics for kids, surplus funding scholarships and conservation projects. Sienna visits more, helps design new programs. I start seeing Diana, a widow, at the library. Maybe, just maybe, life goes on. Constance and Reginald move to Raleigh. She pays back what she stole, no longer able to hurt anyone here. The yacht club diversifies, free kayak demos, open events, a reminder of what this place is supposed to be. I put a conservation easement on the lake. No one can ever develop it. One morning I launch my father's boat drift out at sunrise. Doesn't matter if I catch anything. The peace is the real prize. Was it worth it? Every penny, every fight. I did it so my dad's boat could stay in my driveway, so a kid could fish without asking permission, so a lake could belong to everyone, not just the loudest or the richest. And if you're in the middle of your own HOA nightmare, document everything. Find your leverage. Remember, they're counting on you giving up. Don't. You got your own HOA horror story? Drop it in the comments. The crazier, the better. Let's commiserate. And if you want more stories where justice comes for the right people, hit subscribe, because sometimes karma just needs a little help from a stubborn fisherman.